I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason.
Joy Behar thought she could get away with insulting Karoline Leavitt. Big mistake, huge. The liberal media icon just got the shock of her life when Leavitt fired back with a verbal beatdown that left Behar speechless. Witness the moment Behar's smug smile vanished as Leavitt exposed her hypocrisy on live TV.
Sass, like this answer about the illegal immigrants that Trump is now getting kicked out of the country.
How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
Speaking of Donald Trump, I was stunned and amazed by his new White House spokeswoman today. She's actually the youngest ever in that job, Karoline Leavitt. She's just 27 years old. But boy, was she giving it to the Trump haters in her first White House brief.
As far as this administration goes, I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
This isn't just another celebrity spat. It's the day the liberal media elite met their match in a young conservative firebrand. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Joy Behar's world came crashing down in an instant.
You know, ABC journalists or whatever, although I have to give Peter Dutton huge credit. He does give it right back as well.
Yeah, I think this is the new era of political leaders being honest.
Dang, Rowan, I couldn't do that at 27. No nonsense, straight to the point, courage, detail. By the way, I think the way that she answered is a lesson that many Liberal MPs could learn faced by
the days of spin, of all those advisors telling our politicians, oh, don't say this, you'll offend so-and-so. Make sure you mention this point. That's your talking points.
The liberal media titan thought she could get away with anything, but her careless comment about Karoline Leavitt's appearance on live TV proved to be her undoing. Behar's jaw-dropping remark, she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10, you know that's what it is, sent shockwaves through the studio. The audience gasped, and even her co-hosts looked like they'd seen a ghost. But the real firestorm was just beginning. Social media exploded with outrage, and viewers demanded blood. Hashtags like #CancelJoyBehar and #FireJoyBehar spread like wildfire.
I don't know if they're still being handed around, but the reality is they shouldn't need to be. Because if you are the political leader, if you are a senior politician or any politician, you should be able to answer any question instantly, straight from the heart, on your fundamental basic principles. There used to be, and there probably still are, these dreadful talking points that were handed around, certainly by Labor politicians and by Liberal politicians back in the kind of Turnbull and Morrison days. Maybe you need to fill in some of the specific detail at a later point, but you should be able to tell the truth on any single issue. And this is what drives me absolutely bonkers about all our politicians in Australia. Less so the coalition, but they are still part of it.
ABC executives were caught with their pants down, scrambling to contain the damage. Behind the scenes at The View, it was pure chaos. Producers were in full-blown panic mode, desperately trying to figure out how to save their star from herself. Behar's past came back to haunt her with a vengeance. Critics pounced on her history of controversial remarks, exposing her as a hypocrite who talks about feminism, but has no problem tearing down other women. The liberal icon was suddenly looking more like a relic of a bygone era, out of touch and out of time. At first, Behar tried to brush off the backlash like it was nothing, but this time, she'd picked the wrong target. Karoline Leavitt wasn't about to let this insult slide. While Behar was busy dismissing the outrage, Leavitt's team was preparing a response that would change everything. The tension was building to a fever pitch. ABC executives were sweating bullets, terrified of a potential defamation lawsuit. They knew Behar had crossed a line, but they never expected what came next. Leavitt's blistering comeback hit like a sledgehammer, leaving Behar speechless and exposed. In an instant, the tide turned. Viewers who had never heard of Karoline Leavitt were suddenly singing her praises. Social media lit up with support for the young conservative, while Behar's reputation took a nosedive. The aging liberal icon was left reeling, desperately trying to salvage what was left of her credibility. The legal tsunami Karoline Leavitt unleashed on ABC sent shockwaves through the entire media industry. While the network's bigwigs thought they'd weathered the worst of the storm, they were about to be hit by a Category 5 hurricane named Leavitt. What happened next would leave The View fighting for its very survival, and behind the scenes, Leavitt's team was quietly preparing a nuclear option. They weren't just going to let Behar's comments slide, they were gearing up for all-out war. Rumors of a potential lawsuit started swirling, and suddenly ABC's cushy world came crashing down around them. The network's crisis management team went into overdrive, working around the clock to contain the damage. But it was like trying to plug a leaking dam with a piece of chewing gum. Every hour brought new whispers of Leavitt's legal strategy, and ABC executives were sweating bullets. Joy Behar's future at The View was hanging by a thread thinner than her rapidly dwindling credibility. Insider reports revealed that ABC big shots were locked in emergency meetings, desperately trying to decide if they should suspend Behar or cut her loose entirely. The aging liberal icon's career wasn't just in jeopardy, it was about to go up in flames. The tension within ABC was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Staff were split right down the middle. Some thought Behar had finally crossed a line she couldn't moonwalk back from. Others were convinced she was being unfairly targeted. It was like a civil war brewing in the hallways of ABC, and nobody knew which side would come out on top. Then, the moment everyone had been dreading arrived. Leavitt dropped her legal bombshell, filing a defamation lawsuit that made Behar's comments look like child's play. The young conservative wasn't just fighting back, she was going for the jugular. ABC's worst nightmare had become a reality, and not even their army of high-priced lawyers could stop what was coming. The media landscape shifted overnight. Other networks watched in stunned silence as ABC scrambled to respond to Leavitt's lawsuit. It wasn't just about Behar anymore. This case could set a huge precedent for how networks handle their outspoken hosts. The days of saying whatever you want on air without consequences, they might be over for good. The liberal media elite's worst nightmare has become a reality. Karoline Leavitt's triumph over Joy Behar has sent shockwaves through the industry, signaling a seismic shift in the battle against media bias. The fallout from this epic showdown has left ABC reeling, with viewer reactions split down the middle. Some are cheering what they see as long overdue accountability, while others cry foul over alleged corporate cowardice. But the real drama is unfolding behind the scenes at The View. Whispers of plummeting ratings are echoing through the hallways of ABC, with insiders speculating that Behar's exit could spell doom for the once mighty talk show. The network bigwigs are scrambling to salvage their sinking ship, but it might be too little, too late. As the dust settles on this media earthquake, one thing is crystal clear. Joy Behar's career hangs by a thread, and the liberal elite's stranglehold on daytime TV may finally be slipping away.